Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Anna. I'm a little bit spooky, and today we're doing the yearly favorites in beauty. This is one of my favorite videos to film that are a little bit overwhelming at times, but this year I tried to bring it in a little bit and truly pick those things that I could not stop reaching for the whole year that just brought me joy. So yeah, we're going through our yearly favorites in makeup. So if that interests you, just go ahead and keep on watching. But before you do, don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what your favorite makeup items were of 2023. I want to know. I'm nosy. It is plain and simple. I am nosy as all get out. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into all the 2023 beauty favorites for me. We might be here a minute, so go ahead and grab you a snack. I've got me a protein coffee that I'm working on. So let's talk about makeup. My favorite subject, it really is. Out of all the things I love in life, there's a lot. I have a lot of interests, but makeup is still just number one out of all of them. So let's dive in here. First thing I'm going to talk about is complexion products. Foundations, concealers, contour, powder, that sort of thing. The things I use as my base layers, if you will. I actually don't have a favorite primer necessarily this year. That's going to be more in the skincare talk video. That'll be the next one up in the series, or it might already gone up. I don't know. I'll cover that more in the skincare video, which will be skincare, hair care, and all that jazz. But yeah, I want to talk about complexion. First thing, something that I have fell in love with doing this year is underpainting. That has just been kind of my favorite way to apply makeup. This past year is using lighter hand, less overall product on the face, but somehow more steps and more product. But making things look very seamless, blended together, and just, I don't know, a lighter touch with the foundation and complexion. And yeah, underpainting has been just kind of a little bit of a game changer for me, because I do it with a light hand, if you will. And it has changed the way my foundation looks. I think it looks so much more skin-like and natural in a way. And it's also kind of creamy looking. It's super long wearing these days. So yeah, underpainting has been just kind of my game changer technique this year. And also just a creamy skin complexion. Like not crazy glowy, not super matte, but somewhere in between where the skin just looks creamy. It's set, but it's not dry looking. It's not super matte. There is a skin-like finish to it. Like a very just hydrated, healthy skin. That has been my other real goal with all my complexion application techniques. And underpainting and then going for that creamy skin look has just been it for me. Onto the actual products that I have been really enjoying. If you see me glancing down, it's because I have a list in front of me, because I can't keep it all in my head. There's too much going on with all this in this floofy head of mine to keep track. A couple of foundations that really stood out to me this year. I've tried a lot of skin tints, a lot of foundations throughout the last couple of years, and I do have a video that's kind of a roundup of skin tints. But two foundation products that really stood out to me in 2023 was the IRL Filter Long Wear Foundation from Makeup Revolution. This is long wearing. It is beautiful. It's versatile. You can sheer it out. You can pair it with glowy bases to give it a bit more that creamy look that I like, because this is a matte foundation. I'm not a matte girl. But this one, the versatility of it, and that I can sheer it out and apply it in such a light application and get the longevity from it and all the perks, and still give it a creamy finish by pairing it with a glowy skin enhancer or something like that, and good skincare. It looks great on the skin. The shade match is really good for me. This is considered a breathable soft matte foundation. It is very much medium to full coverage, but you can really sheer it down to get that light coverage, which I prefer personally. And yeah, this has been fantastic. If you are on the more oily side, which my skin can tend does tend to lean a little bit more on the oilier side of things. This is a great one to check out. Every time I use the IRL products, I was just always like blown away with how nice my skin looked. This is oil-free. It claims to be 16-hour wear. You do get great wear time out of it. I do have a full review and wear test with these items if you are interested in that. But I feel like this looked nice over my pores. It didn't emphasize any texture. It didn't make my skin look overly dry. Nothing like that. It just set really well and played well with my skincare and all my other usual makeup techniques. So yeah, this was a really good one. I have the shade F2. It's a hair pale on me. It's a good match otherwise. I could probably stand to go a shade deeper. That's one thing that I have learned about myself this year. I don't know if it's perhaps that I'm on thyroid medicine now and my hormones are working a little bit better than they did, but my skin has more color to it. I'm less ghostly pale than I used to be, and I think that might have had something to do with the thyroid. I feel like I read that online somewhere that it can make you a little extra pale. But yeah, I feel like my skin has a little more color to it than it used to. So I'm not the lightest shade in every foundation anymore. So I have found myself needing to actually pay attention to what shade I'm buying, which was not something I did before. I just usually bought the lightest shade and it worked because I was that pale. The next foundation that has just been 10 out of 10 for me, and that is the Maybelline Superstay 24-Hour Skin Tint. This stuff is fantastic. It is a unique product amongst the skin tints on the market, in my opinion. It is not one of the super hydrating, glowy ones. This one has kind of a satin finish to it, maybe a luminous matte almost finish, you could describe it. It's very, very long wearing. It is incredibly thin. It can be applied in a very sheer application. It can be applied a little bit more full on to get a light to medium coverage. I wouldn't call it full coverage. It's an easy product to work with. It is just kind of gorgeous. It's what is on the face today. This gives that creamy look that I want in a foundation. It's up there with me next to the hyaluronic tinted serum from L'Oreal. That was my other, like, prior to this, my number one. This one I think might even be a little bit better. It just looks beautiful in the skin. It doesn't settle into any of my fine lines, wrinkles, pores, nothing. It just floats across the skin, and the wear time is amazing. I can wear this on leg day at the gym, and my skin still looks great at the end of the day. And during the summer months, performed beautifully. This does have vitamin C in it. It's not the most potent form of vitamin C. It's just in there as kind of a filler marketing thing. Don't look to this for that kind of benefit. But as far as just a pretty foundation, it is 10 out of 10. It does have a slight sheen in it. I don't know if that shows on camera, but it does have that kind of pearlescent look to it. But on the skin, it doesn't look shimmery. You're not going to look like a Twilight vampire. It just looks skin-like with a very natural finish. It is gorgeous. And yeah. One little caveat is that I previously had bought a shade before this and I had to return it because it looked weird on my skin. I think it might have been expired. It smelled funny. It looked odd. So I returned it and actually exchanged it for a shade up in the range to a deeper shade. And it's been heavenly. Absolutely heavenly. So do keep that in mind. If you get it and it smells kind of weird or it isn't performing great, try exchanging it maybe for another shade or something else. It might just be a formula issue. I don't know what that was all about, but since I exchanged it and got a different shade, it has been 10 out of 10. I don't know if maybe it was just a weird thing with the palest shade in the range. I don't know. Yeah, and it's a little bit higher on the price point at the drugstore, whereas the Makeup Revolution one that I spoke about is much cheaper. They are both phenomenal. They perform like absolute high-end products, hands down. Like, you would be hard-pressed to find something at Sephora that performed better. And speaking of like skin enhancers, e.l.f. Halo Glow. Girl, this is good. This is good. If you ran out of flawless filter or want to dupe a flawless filter, don't want to spend the, $40-something for it, just go get the e.l.f. Halo Glow liquid. It is so close that I can't tell a difference. I really can't, unless I'm just being crazy nitpicky. I don't think a difference between the formulas really come to mind. This has a pretty expansive shade range. I think they just expanded it more. It's got the same kind of application technique. Looks virtually the same on the skin. It wears great. It's basically the same thing, and this looks beautiful under both foundations I mentioned, over top as a little liquid highlight. Versatile product here. You can do it on its own on no makeup days. Everything I love about Flawless Filter, this has. So, yeah, it's a fantastic dupe, and it's worth checking out if you're curious about Flawless Filter, but don't want to spend $40-something or even the still high-end price of the trial size of Flawless Filter. I think you can get this still cheaper. And yeah, I do need to get this in a lighter shade. This shade is a little deep on me for the winter months. That product has been just fantastic. It's something I've reached for nearly every day. If I'm not using Flawless Filter, I'm using the e.l.f. Halo Glow interchangeably because they're basically the same product. And for a considerable price difference. Concealers. I have 2 concealers that I was very impressed with this year. I tried a few concealers. I think I tried the Milk Makeup one. A handful of them. The 2 that really stood out to me this year was the IRL Filter Concealer. This one is beautiful. Performs amazingly with whatever foundation I pair it with. It has nice coverage. It wears well. Just all around a solid, good concealer. This is also described as soft matte, but I don't find it to be drying or dry looking on the under eye. It moves with the skin. I think this actually has some skincare in it as well. It's a solid product. I really do like this concealer a lot and think it's a great drugstore option if you can find a shade for you in it. 10 out of 10. Great coverage level. You can sheer it out. You can build it up. It does everything you need a concealer to do. And it looks really nice on the under eye. The next one I want to mention is the Physicians Formula Butter Glow Concealer. Odd shade range, not the best shade range. I don't think the IRL stuff has the best shade range either, sadly. But this has an odd undertone in my opinion. Most of the Butter Glow stuff I've noticed has a bit of a odd undertone. Well, not odd, just an uncommon undertone that you don't see very often in the drugstore, which can actually be a good benefit to a lot of people who have fair olive undertones, which is not catered for very often. You see deeper olive, but you don't see a lot of shades for pale olive undertones. And that is an undertone that exists, and I think it needs a little love for it, because not always is a neutral shade or a yellow undertone, warm undertone, gonna work. Physicians Formula, at least in this lightest shade, has that a slight oliveness to it, and I think it makes it really versatile. And even on me with a pink to neutral undertone, a cool neutral undertone, I can still make it work on me just fine once it's blended in with everything. The formula here, though, oh my gosh, this is one of the most beautiful formulas in a concealer at the drugstore for a full coverage finish. It is stunning, and it's glowy in a way that is not greasy looking, it's not shiny looking, it's not glittery or anything like that. It just looks hydrated, glowy. It has incredible wear time. It looks beautiful. It's pretty crease resistant. It's all around just a winner to me, and I love the formula has such a light creaminess to it, and it just flows across the skin and looks just flawless. It's really good, really good concealer. And that's saying a lot, because Physicians Formula is not my favorite brand. They can be very hit or miss to me, and this is definitely a hit, like across the board at the drugstore. If you can find a shade of this, I don't think you'll be disappointed, especially if you like a little bit more coverage. But this can also be sheared out really easily with just a little dab, blended out, amazing coverage. It's a very pigmented, thin concealer. Very high-end type of formula as well. As far as powders go, I think I mentioned this in my last year's favorite, but the e.l.f. Halo Glow Powder. This is the true secret to creamy skin right here, is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Powder. This is a illuminating powder that sets your face It hides your pores. It makes everything look very filtered and flawless. Yet it has just this fantastic lit from within hourglass ambient lighting powder glow to it in a loose product that is drugstore price because it is e.l.f. I get this in my local grocery store. It is just a true hidden gem from the brand. They have it in a variety of shades. I think they re-promoted it recently, but this has actually been on the market for a while. Like, this is the older packaging. It now, I think, is in a pink container. But I think they re-promoted it when they released the liquid Halo Glow. But this is gorgeous. It's what I have on my face today. And you see I have like just this creamy look to my skin. It doesn't look like I powdered, but it has that blurred look at the same time. It's this. This really does do the trick. It will lock your makeup in, yet won't look like you powdered your face. It's all the perks of a powder without the powderiness. And absolutely gorgeous product right here. I go between the shade light and light pink. They have it in that light pink type of color as well. It's sold out a lot, so it's a little bit harder to get your hands on. But this is my second one. That's how much I love this. And it looks great under the eyes, all over the face. It's gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. Next powder that I fell in love with this year, again in the IRL line from Makeup Revolution. Another thing I do want to mention is that Makeup Revolution is not my favorite brand. They're a brand that I just could care less about. And for some reason, the IRL products, there was a beautiful display of them in my local Walgreens. And it called my name. I usually can walk past that brand just with no interest. And 9 times out of 10, I've been disappointed by them when I did try them. Something about this line, like just seeing the display, picked it up on a whim. And so glad I did, because I fell in love with the collection. The powder, no exception. Absolutely stunning powder. This is one of those more like an HD type of setting powder. It's white. It will blur everything. It leaves a very matte finish, but if you go over with a little setting spray, it brings that creamy finish kind of back. But it will lock your makeup in for hours. It is a fantastic powder if you need something very long wearing. It's a great powder to set with, and not only do you have the loose powder component on the bottom, but there is a pressed at the top for touch-ups, which is really, really convenient. It does everything I could want a powder to do. It sets beautifully. I mean, flawless looking skin, incredibly long wearing, and easy to touch up with the top component. You can throw it in your bag and still be able to touch up with it if you wanted to, because it does function like a compact that has a little mirror and everything. So that makes it really kind of cool and travel friendly in a way. I think it's a really unique item, and I like that it's a 2-for-1 here. And it doesn't look chalky. Like, you'll look matte, but as the day wears, you'll get more of that creaminess back to the skin, or if you go over with like a setting spray or something, it's not going to look super chalky on the face. You can bake with this if you need to. Like, it checks all the boxes for a loose powder, and yeah, I'm a loose powder and a pressed powder. I'm so happy I picked this up to try. Let's talk about blush. I have a couple blushes this year that I really had a moment with. Well, actually a little handful of blushes here. I think I've mentioned these probably in a couple of years' favorites now. But the putty blushes from e.l.f., I'm still loving these. Particularly the shades Tahini and Bahamas. These two I have just like, I constantly reach for. I love a warm, kind of burnt, toasty blush. And then like this one that has that bit of rose in it. Oh, these are my two kind of shades. And the putty blushes are just, they're trusty. They never let me down. I can underpaint with them and layer with them. They perform just so well. And they sit so nicely on the face. They have a great wear time. They go to like a powdery finish. They're not going to feel wet or greasy on the face. So if you're oilier skin, these will perform just fine for you. I love them. Love them. But particularly these two shades have just been my go-tos the whole last year. And speaking of Milani Nude Kiss, I think this is forever going to be one of my favorite blush shades. The formula on these is so nice. So nice. I wish they came out with some more shades of these beyond just a handful of like limited edition ones here and there, but like expanded the range, because these are so good. So good. Gorgeous formula. Very comparable to like a Patrick Ta cream blush, like that good. And from Danessa Myricks, this blush right here. This is Golden Hour in her Yummy Skin cream blushes. Ooh, such a beautiful formula here. It has a skin-like finish. It just sits so nicely on the skin. I love these. I love these. They're very pigmented, incredibly versatile across the board for all skin tones because of the pigmentation level on them. I can go in with just a teensiest amount and have just a gorgeous corally warm glow. I love this shade. It is kind of that sunburnt color that I like for summertime. It's great, and it's what I got on today. 10 out of 10. One of my favorite products that I tried this past year, and very, 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 very impressed with this formula. Very nice. Do you need to spend Danessa Myricks prices for a cream blush though? No, these other cream blush brands have you covered, but if you are looking for a more high-end cream blush, the Danessa Myricks ones will not disappoint you. And I just like Danessa Myricks. She just seems like such a incredibly kind, loving person. Every Sunday she posts these just like heartfelt posts. They're just beautiful and so well spoken, and just the kindness and love that comes through in the way she speaks. It gets me in the feels every time. I always reshare them because I think she can sum up. She has such a beautiful way with words, and every Sunday she posts some kind of just very touching thing that will just make you feel good for the rest of the week to remember. And she's just a wonderful human, I think. So anyway, back to blush. This is such an old product that has probably been on the market since I was in elementary school. This is the Classic Color Blush from CoverGirl. And this is the shade Soft Mink. This is one of those super nudie, barely there blushes, even on my skin tone, but it is so pretty. The formula here is so nice. CoverGirl been doing the good formulas on the blushes. This has the most beautiful skin-like glow to it and sheen. It looks absolutely flawless on the face. Like, these blushes are so underrated from CoverGirl. They are just stunning. And this shade, Soft Mink, is just so nice. So nice. These do come in a variety of shades as well. Sometimes you can find them in store, like at Walmart on kind of the bottom shelf, Dollar General, like really odd places. And like on Amazon and online you can find them. But it's something that CoverGirl doesn't promote, but they've just never discontinued either. These are just phenomenal formula, and they have that classic CoverGirl smell that reminds me of my childhood. It reminds me of my mom, because she used a lot of CoverGirl products, and the smell of this just smells like being close to her, because you can smell it on people's skin the way CoverGirl smells. It reminds me of hugging her. And so, yeah, I have a soft spot for CoverGirl because of that, especially like the face products. And this shade, I know she had this shade, and it was nice rediscovering this and bringing it into my collection. And it's a gorgeous shade. If you're a fair skin tone like myself, this is one of those shades that you'll love. It's just an easy shade that you don't have to think about. Those blushes you can just throw on. It goes with any kind of just neutral look. Neutral leaning cool kind of look. And that is all the blushes. Let's talk about some lip products. I don't have a ton. Weirdly. Like, I didn't go crazy on the lip stuff this year. This last year has been a lot about just loving and using what I have in my collection and getting the most out of it. Like, I've kind of scaled back with like excessive makeup shopping and just buying because it's new. I've only like been focusing on just buying the color that I really want in a line, formulas that truly, truly, truly interest me, not just picking stuff up willy-nilly. Even though that does pay off sometimes, like the IRL products, they did That was a very much an impulse purchase, but it paid off. Most of the purchases that I've made this past year have not been impulse purchases. They have been things that truly piqued my interest and felt like they fit into my makeup routine, my style, my kind of season in life. I'm not in that excessive season right now where I just want to buy. I'm very much just a little bit more of a curated feeling these days and just enjoying what I do own already. And yeah, that's where I am right now. So anyway, I didn't go crazy buying a ton of lip products this year. So I do want to talk about some that I probably mentioned in my last year's favorites. I'm sure I did, in fact. But I think I was just talking about the whole line and the formula in general. And that is the Milani Nude Fetish lipsticks. Or I think they're called Color Fetish lipsticks. But this year, particularly these shades really were like go-tos for me. The shade Pleasure, which is kind of a little bit of a cooler tone, nudie shade. Very, very pale. I love pairing it with a deeper lip liner. It's just really nice. These have a beautiful formula. They also perform gorgeously as blushes, by the way. That's another thing I got into this year, is using lipstick as blush when I'm underpainting. A lot of lipsticks function beautifully as blushes. Don't discount that. Like, if you don't have a blush shade to go with something, check out your lipsticks. Nothing, to me, it's a very classic, elegant thing to do, is to match the lips and the blush. I love that look. I know it's something that's like been around forever to do, but it's still just something I really enjoy, is having that perfect match between the two. Anyway, these perform amazingly as blushes. They have quite an extensive shade range now. I think I have almost all the shades aside from like the floral ones, because I'm not a bright lipstick girl. And this was definitely a year of the more toned down lip for me with the dark lip liner. But yeah, the shade Pleasure is a bit more of a cool, light nude shade for me on my skin tone, and it's a very easy shade to wear. It goes with a lot of stuff. It looks great with like a cool tone, deeper lip liner or a brownie shade. It kind of can pull out a different undertone in it. And yeah, just a lovely shade, and it's one that I reach for a lot just on the day-to-day basis. Next is the shade Tease, when I want one that's a little bit more on the warmer side for a nude. This one is gorgeous. I freaking love this shade. This with a brown lip liner is just everything to me. Is that perfect 90s nude lip. I love it, and you can kind of get that latte lip look with it as well. Gorgeous on the cheeks, lips. Yeah, 10 out of 10 as far as that goes. And then the shade Secret, which is a dupe for Pillow Talk, if you ask me. They're virtually, you can't tell the difference between the two. They're the same shade. This stunning on the cheeks, beautiful on the lips, very easy shade to wear. Just goes with so many looks, and yeah, it's still a favorite. I love the shade Secret. I definitely kind of embraced a little bit more of a muted lip around here lately. Like, I'm either muted or just super dark brown vampy lip. There's not a lot of variation for me there, but I like various undertones with my really, really dark browns and then my kind of nudie shades. They all look different to me, even though my lip half the time they don't. Those I reach for just constantly. And another lip formula that I could not put down this year, and it was just an absolute like kind of go-to, didn't have to think about it, lip product, and that is the Maybelline Vinyl Inks, the Superstay Vinyl Inks. These are phenomenal. The wear time here is insane. They are comfortable. They're not drying. They look like a cream lipstick on the lip. I can't get enough of these. Like, I need more shades. I really do. Because I love the shades that I got. I have a peachy shade that is just easy peasy, light, almost my lips but better color. I've got the shade, and this is called Peachy, I believe. Yeah, Peachy. I have the shade Peppy, which is a little bit warmer. And then I have the shade Punchy, which is a little bit hair deeper and a little bit cooler in tone. That they don't look like they do on the outer component. So these all tend to come out a little bit lighter, in my opinion, on me. But they're beautiful. But I found that like the shade's a little bit lighter than what it is on the component on my lips. But they're so comfortable. They are lipsticks that you truly do not have to think about once you put them on. You're set for the day. Like, you do not even have to worry about them. Very, very impressed with this formula. Truly something innovative here. I know Urban Decay came out with something very similar, but guess what? Maybelline did it first. Maybelline beat them to the punch on this. And truly a innovative product here. And I highly recommend if you find a shade in this that you like, and they have quite a extensive shade range now. They are so good and just so comfortable. Next is this one random lipstick here from L'Oreal that I just fell in love with the color so much. This is from their matte volume line or something like that. Color Reach something rather. I'll have it on the screen because I never can remember. But the shade is Le Wood Nonchalant. And it is this beautiful 90s mauve rosewood brown type of color. Brownie tone. And it's just very like a wearable kind of almost raisin color. It just screams 90s to me. The formula is beautiful. It is comfortable. Great wear time. Just, it looks plump on the lips while still being matte. Just a great formula. The shade range I wasn't that into. Like, most of the shades were just very boring when I looked at them. But the component had caught my eye at the drugstore. This is one of those impulse purchases right here. And I saw this shade and I was like, ooh, that is my kind of shade. Do I have this shade in my collection already? Absolutely. Of course I do. But I love the formula of this. And there's something about the tone of it. It looks really nice. And it's easy to wear. It goes with a multitude of looks. And it can give that little element of drama to a look of that slight vampiness, that little bit of that edgy 90s gal that I was. This is the shade for that. And I think it's great formula. And just a very elegant component as well. Like, this looks kind of like a YSL. And now leading up to the really like true absolute favorites for eyeshadow, as far as ones that I could not put down this past year. First is the Bobbi Brown little dual-ended crayon. Dual-ended long wear cream shadow sticks. I got this in the shade Rusted Pink and Cinnamon. Oh my goodness, this is 10 out of 10 formula-wise. Long wear, oh my gosh, these are not gonna budge. The shimmer in Rusted Pink is so complex and so beautiful and very nuanced, like impressive. Is a rusty pink with a golden shift and sparkle to it. So pretty. And the shade Cinnamon, gorgeous, warm, truly kind of a cinnamon color. Very easy to wear, easy to work with, incredibly easy to blend. Like, I was so impressed with these. I want every single one of them. Like, I really do. Like, that's how impressed I was. So I was like, I've added them to my wish list on Sephora, and eventually they will all be mine because that is an impressive little crayon. Jumping over to the drugstore, these from CoverGirl. I have talked about them before. I've talked your ear off about these. Phenomenal quality. Phenomenal quality. They're a little bit more expensive for drugstore and CoverGirl eyeshadows, but they are worth the $13. Hands down, absolutely worth it, because the formulas in here, high-end good, just incredible. The shade Dreamy Pink is an exact dupe of Pillow Talk. So if you've always wanted the Pillow Talk quad, pick up Dreamy Pink from CoverGirl. These are phenomenal. The formula is just out of this world. And these are cruelty-free, vegan, talc-free, and fragrance-free, which is a hard find at the drugstore. That's not even prevalent within high-end eyeshadows to be talc-free. So yeah, CoverGirl is over there doing some things. I think they are doing more than just some little greenwashing nonsense like Maybelline did. CoverGirl is walking the walk and talking the talk with their products. Like, they're actually trying. They went cruelty-free, and now they're trying to do talc-free, fragrance-free. They're really trying to create quality products at a very affordable price point, and they're knocking it out of the park, if you ask me. And Dreamy Pink is just one of the most beautiful, wearable, everyday palettes. I could not get enough of this one. And I also have the shade Cool Berry, which is just gorgeous. Gorgeous. Like, this to me is more of a mauve-y berry color story. Actually, I wouldn't even call this berry. I'd call this more of a mauve color story, because I think their mauve one actually leans a little more purple. This is just a beautiful, very subtle, pinky, think Naked 3 vibes from Urban Decay. That's what this is. It is basically Urban Decay Naked 3 dupe in a way better formula. Like 10 out of 10. Beautiful formula right here. Very versatile. Pair these together, have a gorgeous look. They make a very cohesive, complete look on their own. The components themselves are actually pretty nice quality. That nothing feels cheap here at all. These are fantastic, and they have a ton of colorways to choose from. I definitely have my eye on a couple of more colorways that they have. I just haven't gotten actually to the store to get them, and then I forget about them when I am at the store. But yeah, I was so impressed with these, and still am. They're definitely little great everyday quick palettes that I reach for on a truly regular basis. Like, especially just everyday out the door, Dreamy Pink is the go-to. The Natasha Denona Yucca palette. You think I could get through yearly favorites without mentioning this bad boy? Oh no. Is what we got on the eyes today. It goes so well with my hair color right now. I'm obsessed. These are my kind of greens, okay? They're pukey, they're gross, they're ugly, but beautiful. Beautiful at the same time. I love every single shade in this palette. The shimmers in here perform like an absolute dream. It's a newer formula. The mattes, incredible. Everything about this palette from Natasha is just stunning, perfect. 10 out of 10. It's top tier. Absolutely top tier. Amazing quality. The shades are beautifully complex and different and unique and just fun. It's just a really fun, off the beaten path, weird color story that I am in love with, and shockingly versatile. You can actually get quite a bit of versatility out of it. I felt like going very obvious with it today, but you can do a cool tone look, you can do matte looks, blue looks. Like, there is a shocking amount of versatility in here. And finally, last but not least, for eyeshadows, Ghost Town USA from Nomad Cosmetics. This palette is everything. It is cowboy, ghost themed, haunted, Wild West. My little cowboy villain heart is, yeah, this is like, I couldn't have thought of a better concept for a palette than spooky cowboys, because I love spooky cowboy stuff. And the colors in here are so truly unique and off the beaten path, different, that I was so excited about it. I love how they feel muted yet super pigmented, easy to work with, dusty, very just weird in the best ways. The shimmers in here, same quality as Natasha Denona Yucca. I mean, just the most creamy, buttery feeling formulas in this palette. The pigmentation, the wear time, there's not a single bad thing that I can say about this palette. I love the whole aesthetic, everything, the colors, the versatility in here. You can get every day. You can get bridal from this. You can get weird swamp witch looks. You can get spooky, undead vibes. Everything is in this palette. And I am just so incredibly impressed with this palette. Like, I can't believe it. The price point of it was great in my opinion. Like, way cheaper than Natasha Denona. This is in support of Birds of Prey with the Peregrine Fund as well. I love the shift on here. The artwork is just amazing. They designed it on location in ghost towns in the American Wild West, so it is just 10 out of 10. My spooky cowboy dreams come true in a palette. Colors, oof, just everything. Everything. These two palettes right here are just, I have fallen so hard in love with Yucca palette and the Ghost Town palette that I cannot put them down. Like, literally want to use them every day. And you can get so much versatility and just nice soft looks out of them as well. And to wrap things up, let's talk about some mascara real quick. This was a year of mascara, I feel like. Like there was just some real excitement around mascaras. I have 3 that I really want to talk about. First is the old school original telescopic mascara from L'Oreal. I love this for everyday soft looks. This with like the Dreamy Pink palette. Perfection. I have it in the shade, I think I got black brown. Yeah, I got the shade black brown. I swear this was a mascara my mom used and loved. I know this was something that I've had before in my collection years ago as well. And revisiting it and re-falling in love with it and just seeing how it's just a nice, natural, everyday kind of fluttery lash look. It was great. And the wear time is phenomenal on this stuff. Like, I think it has like a tubing quality to it or something, because it is long wearing and really, really good. I think it's a fantastic product. Great mascara from the drugstore. And I'm glad that it kind of went viral again because it reminded me of it. And I picked it up and loved it. Honorable mention does go to the telescopic lift. Not in my top favorites. It's because the wand stabbed me one too many times in the eyeball. Other than that, the effect of it is beautiful. It's a really lovely mascara. Great wear time, all the things. Just the wand is a little too finicky. But if we are talking number 1, 10 out of 10, best mascara at the drugstore, it is the Falsies Surreal from Maybelline. This is what mascara dreams are made of. This is a beautiful, beautiful fall slash effect. Just incredible results mascara. Surreal is a very apt name. I loved all the mascaras from the Falsies range, but this one blows them all out of the water. This one, I think this is just like top tier. Fantastic drugstore mascara. The wear time is insane on it as well. It's not waterproof, but it is incredibly water resistant. And it just performs beautifully. It's my favorite mascara. Absolute favorite from the drugstore. And I think you would have a hard time finding a high-end mascara that performed as good. Now, speaking of high-end mascaras, I do have one that was very impressive to me that I have to include, and that is the FanFest from Benefit. I didn't want to like this because I just have a weird thing about high-end mascaras where I think they're just overpriced and I can do better at the drugstore. So I feel some type of way about buying them, about high-end mascaras and spending $30 on one. That being said, we're not going to get into that whole spiel again. The FanFest mascara from Benefit is a damn good mascara. It's beautiful. It's fluttery. It gives you amazing lashes. If you want to spend $28 on a mascara, I think that's the price point. You're not going to be disappointed in it. And they have minis. Get a mini. Just get the mini. Enjoy it. It's a good mascara. So, yeah. All right. And one last thing before we go. The e.l.f. Brow Lift Gel. Fantastic. Amazing. Locks my brows in place for the day. They survived the gym. They survived leg day with all the sweat pouring. They survived the summer, hot weather, humidity. This is a great little brow gel. It is an odd product. It is just this sticky, weird, pomade-y stuff that you dip a spoolie in, you brush it through the brows. You can leave them kind of fluffy or you can press them down and get that laminated look. It doesn't feel, like you can still feel it in your brows, but it's not uncomfortable. It's a really cool product. I know it's a dupe of like the ABH one. I would just get the e.l.f. one because why spend ABH prices when you can get the e.l.f. one? And it is amazing. I love this. e.l.f. really does do fantastic brow products, and I think that is a category they get brushed over in, but they nail it with their brow pencils, the Wow Brow, and then their Soap Brow, all of them. Just amazing products, and they have really good shades in their brow products as well. Like they make the perfect ash brown shade for me. I think it's just, what is it called? Like neutral brown or something. It's just perfect. It looks just like my actual brow hairs. And it's the only one at the drugstore that looks so perfect on me. And it's in their ultra micro pencil or whatever. Anyway, okay. I think that is all for beauty, makeup, yearly favorites right here. I know, I feel like there's a lot less than there was like last year, but like I said, I've been in a bit more of a less is more way. I don't know if it's just what's happened, but I just like to buy products that I know will bring me joy and not disappoint me, I guess. I've been very thoughtful about the purchases I've made this past year because this was a year of just using what I have and loving what I have and not being excessive and not just buying every little thing. It was a year of thoughtful purchases, if you will, for the most part. Anyway, there was a handful of impulse purchases in there, which I can't help it. It's one of those things. When you like makeup, you're going to be a little impulsive with it. Anyway, let me know down below, were any of these items in your favorites this year? What do you love? What are your favorites? Drop it in the comments down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Stay safe and stay spooky, and here's to a good 2024. Good Lord, I hope it's better. Please, God, get better.